Hi, this is Scott Murray, and welcome to the Daily Economic Market Shout for Thursday, January 19th, 2023. It's great having you with me here today, and we got disappointing numbers on housing. We had housing starts fall for the fourth time in a row in January, and that tells us that there continues to be weakness in the housing construction market. There is a ray of good news, however, because when we look at that number, we actually have the composite of both multifamily and single family. And multifamily was awful. There's no way around it. It was down almost 20% month over month, and now a retreat of almost 15% year over year. But we did see a spike, a 10% gain in single family. So maybe there's hope here that the loss of a little bit of a decline of interest rates, a little bit price cutting by builders have actually helped increase some demand. We have seen signs out of leading builders lately that they are willing to cut price. However, they're also seeing a very historic step back in order cancellations. So good news is that maybe lower prices will lower housing inflation. At the same time, maybe lower mortgage rates will start to push construction out there. And we're desperate in need of construction. We still, at this point, have 1.2 million new homes on the market to be sold. We usually have 1.4. So yes, we've seen a decline in prices. So that's helpful. We seem to think that maybe there is an opportunity for people who have been looking for a home, have a job, are actually confident about the economy that they can make a home purchase in the future. However, we have a long ways to go, and completions continues to be sluggish. In the month, we saw a step back. We'd actually seen a surge in completions in November. So having that hold against us is something we have to be worried about. Now, permits went the other way, meaning a little bit of multifamily permits and single family went south at 6%. And since we are year over year, even with the good December number, year over year down 25% in new housing starts, we would hope to see more permit activity, which is really just laying the foundation to a better housing market ahead. That's not there yet. And so we have to continue to believe that at some point, prices will equalize in between supply and demand, and that will actually spur better construction and take care of this housing shortage that we're dealing with. Better news on the labor front this morning. We saw continuing claims drop below 200,000. Yes, we are in this Thanksgiving to ML King holiday period where we see a distortion, and there'll be one more week left because we're talking about last week, and this week was clearly the holiday. So continuing claims moving back. It had been moving towards 1.7 million, now 1.65 million. Yes, it stopped going up, seems to be stabilizing, but that does tell us that people are being absorbed and few people are being let out. So firms are still very cautious about their employment, meaning that they don't want to let people go and then have to beg and borrow to bring them back in a couple months ahead. So also out of Philadelphia, we saw a decline in its index, the Fed index, similar to what we saw in manufacturing. However, it beat consensus and it wasn't as severe. So maybe a little bit of hope there in the economy. Politically, instability continues to reign. New Zealand Prime Minister expected to resign. There'll be a party caucus, but we are all focused on the October general election, which may change parties again. We've seen that in Italy, and we've seen some changing of leadership in certain parties in UK, Israel is another where we've seen a shift in leadership through a general election. So with the France experiencing strikes around pension reforms, we still see this angst out there as we come out of this pandemic. Europe doing a little better and actually seeing maybe a push up in Asia, but the political turmoil has created instability inside the political environment for many countries, facing inflation, facing lockdowns. So that's something we have to keep our eyes on. And it does create instability. We've even seen that lately in terms of the debate about the debt ceiling. Expect the US not to default, expect debt ceiling to increase. However, the rancor that goes on with this really reflects the instability politically that we are seeing around the world. This is Scott Murray for the Daily Economic Market Shout. Thank you for joining me.